How would you like to raise some money with AI? William Hollis will tell us how to do it. And what's so special about William Hollis is he's the founder of 24 Tech Systems, a self-taught software engineer turned real estate investor. Now, you've probably tried to raise money, and it's been a daunting experience. You've perhaps tried to connect with hundreds of investors that have not looked at you, and you couldn't remember who it was that you connected with and what answer they gave, and so on. So today, William Hollis will tell us how the entire process of raising money can become effortless. And I'm so curious about this Raise AI that you have created that will help wannabe entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that are raising money to have a much easier process. So tell us about how to raise money with AI.
AI Superwoman podcast with Lily Patrascu shares the world's most innovative AI tools and processes to go from technophobe to AI pro, attract leads, close sales, automate your business, enhance productivity, and deploy AI agents to do your work.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for having me on, Lily. Raise AI, 24 Tech Systems, we've since rebranded our entire company under Raise AI, which is really exciting because of the power that AI has when it comes to raising capital, whether that's for real estate or really any kind of private equity. When I first got into this real estate space, of private equity, a lot of the deals that were being done were happening on paper. People had their Rolodex of contacts and they wanted to raise money, let's say for a real estate project, an apartment building, they wanted to purchase or to build. And they pull out their Rolodex and start flipping through names and making phone calls through hundreds and hundreds of people to see who would be interested in investing capital into their deal. I saw that and I said, man, there's got to be a better way to go about this. So started looking at how to leverage AI and automation for a lot of these tasks. And that's my background for almost 15 years now, building AI and automated solutions really for enterprise level Fortune 500 companies. So here in the real estate space and specific to capital raising, I started to look at how can we automate, one, finding people who are interested in investing in a deal. Two, how do we automate the outreach to them? Three, how do we then use AI to have those initial conversations, those qualifying conversations that, typically you have to have yourself or you have to pay a VA or something like that to handle for you. And then four, how do we actually close that capital? Once they say, yes, I'm interested, I'll get on a call with them. The call goes great. There's a good synergy. How do we then help them to sign the documentation, get into their, create their investor account on the back end, make sure that they don't have any hiccups along the way. And so that's where Raise AI came from. And we use AI to take down each one of those specific pain points for our clients.
Thank you. Okay, now let's take a practical example, okay? So let's say if I'm raising, $1 million or whatever for my company, then perhaps my efforts for raising money could be a little bit scattered. And what I mean is, let's say some of it could entail connecting with hundreds of investors on LinkedIn. Another one could be to connect with hundreds of investors in platforms that are specific just for investors. And there are many of those as well. Let's say also my efforts relate to connecting with investors at events. So I will have, hundreds of people on my WhatsApp as well, but not on LinkedIn and not in my database. And then let's say I have some other people that have engaged with me in some way, and I have their email, and then I don't have them, let's say, in a database. How would you recommend someone goes from, let's say, a scattered effort towards raising $1 million towards an effort that actually leads to something? Like, what would need to happen?
Very good point. So that's the scenario that a lot of our clients come to us in, right? They're creating LinkedIn content. They go to events. Maybe they're on some other platforms. Everyone's got a bunch of contacts all over the place. So the initial thing that we do for most clients is kind of a ladder approach. is we help you to organize the contacts that you already have, number one. Number two, we help you to create a system or a funnel that you can point everyone to. So now, whether they come from LinkedIn, Facebook, live events, whatever your webinars, whatever it is, your outreach methods may be, everyone gets funneled into one place and segmented when they are created. So the cool thing about this is usually most of our contacts come to us, or our clients come to us, they have over between 500 and 1,000 names of people that either have said, they had DM conversations on LinkedIn or WhatsApp or wherever, and they would say, yeah, I've got all these people. How do I contact them all? How do I actually re-engage them to have a meaningful conversation in a strategic way? So we do an AI-powered database reactivation campaign where we take all those clients, we figure out, okay, these are the people from events, these are the people from LinkedIn, these are the people, friends and family maybe. How do we speak to each of those different people, right? Because your rapport with the people from LinkedIn won't be as high as your rapport with your family members and your people from LinkedIn and so on and so forth. So we segment all the contacts, give AI all the information about give the AI agent all the information about your company so it can understand contextually who you are. And then we augment that user data or that investor data as well, the lead data, so that the AI has a better idea of who the people it's speaking to are. And then we add in the segmentation through like simple tagging in the CRM of where you met those individuals. From there, that database reactivation AI can actually go out and continue or start new conversations with all of those leads, to point them and start to guide them toward the project that you're raising capital for. The really cool thing about this is most of our highest performing clients run paid media of some kind to raise capital from investors, which is awesome. It's very effective. I think the most effective way, besides public speaking, is probably right neck and neck with that. But both of those things cost money to do. If you can reactivate current leads or current people or potential investors who you already know, I like to call that found money. It's like you reached in the couch and you found some money in the couch from all your previous efforts. So that's the first thing we do, is to try to reactivate your current list of leads. And then from there, we'll look at, where we are, who was actually interested, and kind of build additional strategies from there.
Thank you. Let's say you do all of that with Raise AI. I still find the entire process relatively overwhelming. So imagine that we know that out of the 10,000, 20,000 people that could potentially be a good candidate for, giving me $1 million. Every single one has so many data points, for example, let's say I've met 10 times. Some people I've met one time. Some people are cold. Some people are warm. Some people know me really well. Some people are my friends. It's so overwhelming, right? And also, what kind of conversation would you need to have? What kind of email, what kind of message would someone need to have to re-engage with a lot of those people? Because you can say there is a gap between where you want to be and where you are right now in terms of conversation that you've had or haven't had. And how do you bridge this gap? What do you say specifically to kind of re-engage with someone that, let's say I have a lot of investors in my network and I'm not ready to ask for money now, but let's say if I did become ready to kind of start pitching for funding, how do I re-engage with these people that I know could give me the money?
Awesome question. So real life case study. Again, we do this for our investors for our clients on a continual basis. The thing we found to be the most effective is to, one, in the initial message, keep it extremely simple, whether that's email or text, keep it extremely simple. I'm talking about 1 to 2 lines in an email, in a text message, no more than the size of a tweet, right? Maybe 3 lines tops. So really your objective, let's take what you said. You've got all these people, some are warm. So I'll take a step back. For the people who are very warm, who you have a strong previous relationship with, that's usually 100 people tops. Like usually it's not even that many people. It's like 10 or 20 people. We set those people aside, right? Outside of that, outside of those really, really warm relationships, people who would definitely pick up the phone if you called them directly, we separate those people out. Outside of that, we can use a similar kind of messaging to everyone. So going back to what I was saying about keeping it extremely simple, the idea is one, you want to pique interest, and two, you need them to reply to your message. That's like the baseline level of reaction that we need from people. So a simple way we word messages is we think of something that we can offer or something new that we can talk about that maybe we haven't spoken about that person with before, and think of a very simple way to frame it. So for example, something we did do oftentimes in the beginning of the year is we'll send have the AI go through and send text message and emails to people that say something like, "Hey Lily, how have you been? I'm working on some new investment strategies for 2025, and I would love to get your feedback. Do you have 15 minutes this week?" Literally that simple. And that message is worded in that way for a few reasons. Some things for compliance, some things to avoid your messages being flagged as spam. So you need to be careful with, what wording your AI uses. But the idea is you said, "I'm working on strategies, investments, and I want your opinion." Right. So you put them in a position of authority to say, "Hey, I need your help. I'm not asking you for anything. I just want your opinion on what I'm doing." Right. And the reason why we do that is no one wants a message that says, "Hey, do you have $1 million?" No one's going to respond to that message. Right. So we have to kind of warm them up before we go in for that kind of ask. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm wondering whether you would recommend that people, let's say, imagine I am very close to a lot of really high caliber investors that have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in different things, or have, let's say, made kind of money for different businesses. And I noticed that for a couple of them, I wasn't looking for investment, but I was looking for just for them to attend an event. And I went for you can say the biggest shots first, right? And I would say I really didn't close any deal, right? And I'm wondering whether you would suggest that for people who are looking for investment, that they would try with the smallest fruit first. Like for the something that's like the smallest and closest. So not necessarily to go for the top dog, but for the something that is like a small win. That if they don't win it, it's no big deal, and they can always move up. But you would suggest that perhaps they don't go for the top dogs first. They don't go for the people that can give them a lot of money.
Well, I would say it depends. Typically, the way we do these campaigns is for, again, setting aside those really warm relationships, those you treat differently. But from there, we test a few different messages. We do a ton of A/B testing with every single client to really figure out what resonates with them. And yeah, you don't want to, a single individual who will cut you a check for $1 million deserves a different kind of approach, right? Kind of more personalized. And even then, their approach is similar in that unless they're an institution, like a family office that has their own underwriters and things like that, that has a more formal process, if it's an individual, you still have to create that relationship, right? You still have to warm them up, get them to engage with you. So you still want to take a similar approach. Now, when it comes to actually which calls you want to take first, just to kind of warm up your own pitch and get your own level of comfort in those conversations, definitely go for the, I won't call them lower value, but lower ticket investors first, right? It's just there are more of them. You can burn through a few $100,000 investors before you have your $1 million investor conversations. Because even if you don't get those $100,000 investors, you get the reps, right? You get more comfortable having those conversations for sure.
Thank you. What else would you like entrepreneurs to know about raising money with AI, and specifically with Raise AI?
Yeah, the number one thing we come up against, the capital raising industry is a very old one and it's slow to adopt, right? It's slow to adopt new technology. A lot of people are still pretty afraid of AI in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to investor interactions, because of how valuable each investor is. So, one thing I will say is that I'm sure there were people who were afraid of email when it came out and not afraid to use email with their investors, right? Fast forward not even 50 years. And if you send someone a paper letter with your deal on it, you're lucky if they even get it. So I would say we're living in a similar time now, right? This is a time to adopt this technology. Take the time to learn it. It's not very complicated. I mean, we do seminars. You can find tons of content on YouTube that can really educate and help you to be comfortable with using AI, not only for raising capital, but for all aspects of your business. And the really beautiful thing with Raise AI in particular is that we specialize in using AI for raising capital. That is our entire business model. And we help you to use AI from beginning to end. And we show you exactly kind of what tools we're using and give you some details into how we build them because we consider our clients partners. I want our clients to use AI in all parts of their business. Sure, we helped you, raise capital to buy your building, but how can you and your team leverage AI to, lease it afterwards or to manage your construction teams or, all those other aspects that may go into a specific deal and into operation. So we really, really love helping our clients get educated on the options that are out there for them when it comes to leveraging AI.
Thank you. What mistakes do entrepreneurs make that Raise AI could help entrepreneurs with?
The biggest mistake people make is not following up on time. So any entrepreneur that's in any business focused on revenue knows money is made in the follow-up. Very, very few products, above a certain price point have a one call sales cycle, right? That means that if you don't have those subsequent calls, the sale is never made. Similar with raising capital, whether you're raising $50,000 or $1 million, it's not going to be on a single call more than likely. And so you need to have a very solid structure in place. There's probably never been a tool as good at following up as AI is. So Raise AI helps you to not only take your investors' experience into account in your follow-ups, but obviously we record all the conversations with like the AI note takers that people, very common now. Raise AI has access to that, to those notes, right? It understands when to follow up, like the timing on when to follow up with investors based on the conversation and additional context of what we're trying to accomplish. If we're raising capital for a specific deal, it knows, hey, we got to shorten the timelines for follow-ups because this deal has a deadline. If we're just raising capital in general and trying to see what general investor interest is, it knows, okay, we can slow the follow-up cadence down a little bit because, we're not under a specific deadline here. So having that follow-up not only automated, but smart, really, really smart, is the biggest problem that AI and specifically Raise AI solves for businesses.
Thank you. Tell us more about how did you come up with Raise AI and why did you come up with it?
So, great question. Probably 5 years ago now, I had been involved in real estate to some extent. I did some flip projects and things like that, and did a little bit of private money lending as well. And I was looking at how to really create truly passive income from real estate. I looked at acquiring some buildings. I live here in Connecticut, so I looked at acquiring some buildings here in Connecticut, small multifamily, like 4 units, and the numbers really weren't very attractive to me. So I started to look at larger buildings. The first one I made an offer on was, I think, 17 units in northern Connecticut. And I understood, okay, I'm going to need to raise some capital for this project. So I tried to raise capital for that deal. and COVID happened right around the same time COVID started, and the deal basically fell apart. And I was really having a hard time raising money on the deal, kind of the old-fashioned way, manually making all these calls and trying to follow up with people and things like that. So I was a part of I joined a capital raising mastermind at the time, and I got a lot of exposure to the processes that people at a high level were using to raise capital. And I found that they were still very manual and kind of given to human error and very manual process and very slow process. So my background again is in AI and automated solutions. I've built AI and automation solutions for Disney, JP Morgan Chase, Nike, a lot of very large enterprise level companies. And I came in and I saw the industry and I said, man, I really feel like I should address this. But I was only thinking about it for my own company and my own private equity company, 24 Capital Group. So I built it. I built some systems. I raised some capital for a few deals. And then a few people in the mastermind kind of asked me to implement some of the same things for them. And initially I was doing it for free, just kind of as a way to giving back to that community that had helped me along the way in so many different ways. Until one day I was building a project, a setup for a guy, and he says, we're on a call, and he's like, man, this is taking you a really long time. I'm doing it for free, mind you. He says, this is taking you a really long time. Would you go faster if I paid you? And I sat back and I thought to myself, I probably would go faster if you paid me. So he was really the very first Raise AI client. And so the business kind of started organically from there. And obviously, AI has grown significantly in the past 2 to 3 years, which has allowed us to go even deeper in the implementations that we can create for raising capital with AI.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can connect with you.
The best way is on LinkedIn. William Hollis. You can look up my name, or if you search REI Hollis, REI Hollis on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of those platforms. But LinkedIn is where I'm most active. It's where I'm most responsive. So you can find me there.
Thank you.
Follow me for more AI productivity tools.